Hello, it's Toaster Party, and today I'm going to be covering my picks for the top 5 CDH cards from Commander Legends 2 Battle for Baldur's Gate. But before we get into that, I have a few honorable mentions, that being Ellen and Gale. So, after I finished my set review, I finally figured out what these two cards really want to be doing for CDH. So, with Ellen, you want to be pairing her with some sort of blue background so that you then have access to Isochron Scepter. And from there, you can be able to tap Ellen repeatedly to be able to draw your entire deck. And her ability to tap to just dig into the deck to pull out pieces is incredibly powerful because then you can try assembling Isochron a lot faster. And then with Gale, I can't say I figured this one out by myself because I heard it from other people. But what Gale really wants to be doing is to be paired in black. So would be a Dimir color pair, so that it has access to a lot of sort of self-mill effects, so that it can get a lot of value pieces in yard as fast as possible, so that it can then start chaining instants and sorceries, so it can cast a tutor, get back an instant, cast an instant, get back that tutor, and then be able to chain into quick wins that way. But without further ado, let's get into the actual list. Starting off with number 5, Master Chef. This is a green background that enables persist loops while also being in the best color for persist cards. The most likely home that this card is going to find with its commander is going to be either in a Golgari or Selesnya color pairing, because those are the two color pairs where you get the most good persist cards, each having at least 3 good cards with persist, which having access to this kind of easy infinite loop out of the zone is going to be incredibly powerful. And worst comes to worst, if you can't pull off the persist loop, it does do a little to help beat down your opponents to make it a bit harder for decks like Ad Nauseam to try winning that way. Let's move on to number 4, Street Urchin. This is another background, but this one is an outlet for Dockside Extortionist loops in the command zone. That also happens to be in Dockside's colors. So, what the loop is that once you get infinite treasures, you can then use those infinite treasures to sack the other treasures to just shoot down the entire board, taking out all your opponents, ending the game on the spot. But even when it's not comboing with Dockside could still be used as a removal piece alongside this background to be able to remove problematic creatures like, say, Draenith Magistrate, Thalia, any rule of law creature. And also it can be used as a sack outlet for other creatures or artifacts that you may want in yard, or if you need to clear your field of treasures because your opponent's going to play their own Dockside. So let's move on to number 3, Abdel Adrian, Gorian's Ward. So this is probably the biggest card that I didn't really understand how good it was when I was looking at it the first time. So what I didn't realize is that this card has an extremely similar effect to World Gorger Dragon and Liena and Relic Warder. And it might not be able to remove all of your lands to be able to use those for mana, but it's also less risky than World Gorger, because if the card just leaves the battlefield, you still get everything back. So, you put Abdel in the yard, you cast Animate Dead, Abdel returns to the field, removes the Animate Dead, and even just with those two, you then have infinite 1/1s. It still could be a decent stacks commander, but most likely this card is just going to see play in decks that want to do the World Gorger Dragon thing. And it's a white card now, so you don't have to be shoehorned into a red-black deck to be able to do that kind of combo. Up next, we have number 2, Volo, the Itinerant Scholar. So this is a choose a background commander that is also in the same color as the card it combos with, that being Isochron Scepter and Dramatic Reversal, because those, when pairing with Volo just allow you to draw your entire deck. Though technically, Volo has to be not summoning sick. So what I see this card being used in is in some sort of mid-range shell, because it both can generate a lot of value over time with its draw effect, and is both a combo in the command zone. And it's powerful because it's good even without a background, because the combo is all self-contained within Volo and his colors, so you aren't limited at all in your background choice, so you can pick whatever you think is best for this kind of deck. Now let's finish it off with number 1, Archivist of Agma. This card is an incredibly powerful advantage engine in CEDH, and is really good for most decks that are in white. It triggers off of both fetches and tutors, so it's super likely that you're going to be able to draw a lot of cards and gain quite a bit of life off of this. And you can also choose when to deploy this, because it also has flash. So if your opponents want to play around this kind of thing, it becomes very difficult, because they crack a fetch, you can just in response put this on the field, so you already are going to get some form of value. Even if they decide that they don't want to feed the Hobbit, you're going to end up feeding the Hobbit. And the life gain portion of this card can also be relevant in some various strategies. Like, I know Heliod would appreciate this kind of effect to be able to gain life, because then it pumps up the board. Or various decks like Ad Nauseam, the life gain is valuable there. And finally, this is just another one of those cards that pushes mono white even closer to viability, because it's another really good advantage engine that this color can now play. Well, thank you all for watching. Hope you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you all have an excellent day.